The Celtic Unrestricted View is sponsored by AB Entertainment. It's a DJ and entertainment business. And we are also partnered by MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. Both our sponsor and our partner are on social media and can be found on Facebook or Instagram. So feel free, guys, to check them out as they offer fantastic services, and enjoy the upcoming episode. Hail, hail. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. That's myself, JP, and that's right, folks, I'm on myself tonight. The lads are currently busy and occupied with other things tonight, so I'm here myself. I hope everyone's well that's tuning in, and hope you've all had a very good week. It's been a very quick week for myself, and yeah, it's just it's one of those ones, if you blink, you'll kind of miss it, you know. But as I say, hope everybody's well. We've got some news also, a nice wee offer and gesture from the podcast partner, John Mullaney. I believe John's in the comments. We'll come to the comments in a couple of moments. But John, he's come up with an idea and a great offer, in my opinion. Anybody that's watching us and anybody that might be new that's tuning in at all, John is offering 20% off signed frames, jerseys, and frames, jerseys as well. Sorry, I need to put my teeth in tonight. Framed jerseys and signed jerseys in the Hoops Memorabilia. John's offering 20% off as long as anybody subscribes and likes the podcast. So if you subscribe and like, it's totally free, doesn't charge you any money. You will get 20% off the pricing for your jerseys or any memorabilia that you have sitting about that you want done. And all you need to do is quote TURV, TURV, TURV 1888. So I've got it on the running bar for you just now. You'll see it running past your screens. So yeah, so there's a nice wee bit of news to start us off tonight. Some of the comments in early. And Jem, evening folks. Good evening. John, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Jerry Burns, evening everyone. Good evening. John, like the new intro, JP? Yeah, mate, it's one of those things. We need to evolve like everything else. We need to try and, you know, try and make it interesting, try and make it less time consuming as well. It's a wee bit quicker, this one. So I decided to kind of give it a try. Still the same tune, it's still pretty much the same kind of information it's given out, but a wee bit quicker. Paul Burrell, good evening, JP, Ryan, hail, more. Ryan's not here, Paul. Just myself, Paul. So, as I say, the lads are pretty busy. So it's just myself. Thomas Hand, good evening, JP and the chat. Hail. And joining us also. Evening, JP. John Mullaney, on your Todd, big fella. Yeah, mate. It's no rest for the wicked, mate. Some of us have got to be hard at it, I'm afraid. But listen, it's no something I'm not used to, mate. I've done plenty of these sitting, having a chat myself. So sometimes you enjoy chatting to yourself without the men in the white coats coming to get me. Sometimes it's better to do it on your own. You can get through it quicker and do a wee bit more as we go. Guys and gals and ladies and gents in the chat, let me know your thoughts. Right, obviously, I want to say a massive thank you also to everybody that's took the time to tune in to this week's episode of Take Me to Your Paradise. We are kind of blown away with the feedback we've had from it, and it was good to get a chat with Ryan because that's the first time Ryan's done a chat with us in the Squirrel Bar. So it was good to chat with Ryan. For anyone that's kind of wondering what I'm on about, the video of that's in the video section of the YouTube channel. So you can go on there and if you want to finish this and looking for something else to watch, if you've not got anything else to watch this fine Friday evening, you can nip into the video section of our YouTube channel and it's in there. It was a good chat. But in the comments, guys, let me know your thoughts of how you think Celtic are going, what's happening in your opinion about Celtic and everything else. So obviously we've got another league game coming up on Sunday. We take on St Mirren. That's why I've wrote Celtic go marching for Saints. We're going to Paisley, so we take on St Mirren. Normally these guys are tough nuts to crack. We've went there in the past. We've lost. That's the kind of private joke you hear me and Ryan chatting about. We've been on a St Mirren podcast and things like that. That was under Big Ange. We went and yeah. So it's a tough venue, and St Mirren are a big physical squad. Who like to try and get in your face. I mean, they've done it to us at Celtic Park in the last game of the season. They took the lead twice in the game. Celtic had to kind of fight back both times, and then obviously went on and took the lead by Lewis Palmer's winning goal, as it turned out to be that day. And then obviously we went on and lifted the trophy. So, but they are a tough nut to crack normally at home. But let us know what your thoughts are in the comments, because in my opinion, Celtic are, we're absolutely flying and we're playing formidable football. And yeah, long may it continue. The squad of players under this manager's getting better and better. The tempo's there. Players have come in, they've gave the team a big lift. Guys like, Kasper Schmeichel, first and foremost. He's unbelievable. What a signing that's been. Top class goalkeeper. He'll be massive for the squad as we go. Paulo Bernardo, continuity there again, but he delivers, that element of technical quality. He's got legs, he's got much to his game. He's like a more kind of versatile midfielder in that he's got 4 or 5 different strengths in his game, which is very good, in my opinion. Adam Ida, again, another one is He's going to come in and he's going to lift the squad. Plus the emergence of Nicholas Kuhn as well, fully fit and you know flying as well. So I think we're flying. But we'll come to now a couple of comments. Big Rab Bean is in the comments tonight. He said, "Evening, JP. Hearing that Celtic are in for someone from Brentford recruitment team. Uh, Rab, I've personally no heard anything on that front, mate. So you know, I'll, I'll need to wait and see with that one. I've not, I've not came across that at all, mate. I've not even, I've not heard anything at all. We comment in from what a name this is, a tin of tartan paint. Good evening. Hope you're well. Matt O'Reilly is nearly away, so don't think he will be playing on Sunday. Well, that will be a difficult game, but I think we need to start with Adam up front. Hail, hail. Uh, yeah, you know, I think it's the worst kept secret, isn't it, about Matt O'Reilly and whether or not he's going to go, whether he's going to stay. Is it, who knows? According to Brendan's presser earlier on, he's still training really well. He's a modern professional. I don't think we can argue. That's for sure. With the return he's gave us, and he's really laid down what it's like to play for Celtic, and he's set a great example for younger lads as well, in my opinion. If he goes with Celtic's best wishes and best of luck to him. He's personally, I don't think he owes Celtic anything. We gave him a platform. He's came here and he's developed his game. He's certainly not. He's not the player now. The player we signed. I think Brendan Rodgers has added quite a bit to his game with the way Brendan wants to play. You look at Big Ange. Big Ange, couldn't fit him into the team every single week. Aaron Moy was playing ahead of him, but he's developed lovely, and it's been great watching him over the last couple of seasons. Last season, he was quite rightly so our Player of the Year. So yeah, as I say, if he certainly goes with my best wishes. That's for sure. Adam Eder up front. Yeah, he brings a physicality, doesn't he? He brings an element of height, strength. He just puts fear in defenders. You look at the big lad Gogic last season at Celtic Park. He was kind of getting the better of the lads he was playing against that day. And when Adam Eder came on, the big lad stopped being able to bully people, and because Adam can withstand with strength, you know, he's got that to his game. He's got in abundance, and that's why I've said on here numerous of times. I don't know if you've tuned in before, mate, but I think he's going to be massive for this team. I would personally start him in the game as well as we go, because I think it's important that he gets games as well, because I think he's behind the team slightly in physicality. You saw that on Sunday when he came on. But we'll just need to wait and see what's going to happen, Thomas. And a massive week with the window coming to a close, JP. Confident we'll be stronger by the time it closes. Yeah, mate, I'm pretty calm. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm pretty calm at all. It's clear for everyone to see that Brendan's obviously looking at a different calibre of player. He spoke brilliantly about it again today on his presser, and he's looking for quality. And you could just go and stockpile the squad, but we've got enough of that there. And we're talking about these guys. Kobayashi, Mikey Johnston. These lads are all doing that now. They're stockpiling the squad. They're drawing wages, and they're not really contributing the way your squad should. So, for me personally, you've got to be looking at a different avenue and a different way of bringing quality into the team. Because if you bring players in and put them round about guys like Callum McGregor, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Rio Atati, Kyogo, even Adam Ida, no Paulo Bernardo, start putting bits of quality around about them, and you'll just see the team go from strength to strength. And who knows, we could win for a very exciting season. And yeah, Jerry, it will be interesting to see if Kyogo and Matt O'Reilly play on Sunday. If not, then people are going to put two and two together. Well, I think, Jerry, when you're talking about Matt O'Reilly, right, and I've had conversations with the lads, even when we're not live and stuff and not recording anything, and I've said, when a guy of that value is in your squad, there'll come a point between now and next Friday where a decision will need to be made on Matt, whether, right, there's got to be a cut-off point, whether he goes or if he's going to stay, right, fine. But, you know, if he's going, then what will tell me that he'll not play on Sunday if he's going to depart. So I know Brendan was keeping his cards close to his chest today, and he said there's nothing there, but there's plenty of speculation and things happening. But if Matt is leaving Celtic, there'll be a point where he'll need to come out the team, Jerry, because you need to protect that value, mate. You can't risk Matt going out and getting an injury, and then Celtic lose out in the lucrative offer that could come in for Matt. No, there's rumours. I mean, there's chat all over now that he's going to break the transfer record in Scotland. With a payment fee plus the add-ons as well. So it's impossible, mate, to continue playing him in these games to risk that injury. The guy's of high value, and if he is going to stay, then that's the only reason why he would continue playing, because quietly in the background they'll all know what's going on, and you'll probably see him still playing in the team. But if not, if he's not playing on Sunday, there's a good chance, it's probably coming close that Matt is going to be moving on to pastures new. Snitch, gentlemen, hail, good evening. Hope you're well, pal. Cheers for tuning in. Lindsay, good evening. Hope you're well, pal. Hope you've had a good week. It's not been too long, and yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Stephen Ray, good evening, big man. Brendan said Celtic is the club he wants to be at. However, he kept going on about ambition, quality players, not just participating in the Champions League. Let's see if the board really want Brendan. Well, Stephen, to touch on the board, right? I've seen mega comments regarding the board and ambition and everything else. You've got to, arguably, mate, you've got to look at that and say he's already been backed, even in this window. He was allowed to bring Casper Schmeichel in, and the board backed him to do that and trusted him and to bring in that goalkeeper to be the man to succeed Joe Hart. He was also trusted to bring in the lad for Aston Villa as an understudy to Casper, to then be the go-to man when Casper decides, maybe if it's a year or two, I'm going to move on, and he's going to then be back to square one. But Celtic have left themselves in a position where they've planned ahead for that, Stephen, and they've brought in the second goalkeeper. Then you look at the Paulo Bernardo, he was there last season. People are saying that, yeah. But again, he was a player Brendan wanted. So the club have worked tirelessly to negotiate prices for these lads. Now, I know you've taken the Adamida situation in isolation. The club have worked tirelessly to get that deal done. So much so, mate, that they've ended up maybe even paying slightly over the odds. But they've done it because Brendan required Adamida. Brendan wanted Adamida. So they've backed Brendan there by, and listen, Brendan touches on it today. Sometimes in transfers, listen, none of us, we can all sit here and scaremonger and come up with this, come up with that, and say that. None of us are privy to what's going on in the background. None of us are. only Brendan and a few other gentlemen know exactly what the process has been so far. And he told you what the process is. You know, the recruitment team go out, they go through the players with fine tooth combs, they send it to manager. Manager then looks at them and then he passes it on to the board. Now, players can come in to the manager and he assesses them and, you know, he does all his due diligence and then he puts it onto the board. And then when it comes the board's turn to go and try and get the player, the club that they're dealing with, Stephen, might change the goalpost. That isn't Celtic's fault. But for some reason, our fans seem to think that the club aren't trying, or the club are somewhat deliberately trying to hinder, you know, the manager, the team, the fans of it. But it's the hardest thing in football, Stephen. To football recruitment's not an exact science, mate, and nobody out there is getting it right. He alluded to, you know, buying players at a million and a half. Now, that's fine if you want to stockpile your squad, but he's not. Brendan's not looking to do that. That's why he's continuously been banging the drum and saying, "No, look, the bar's been set a bit higher. We need a certain level of player to come in, and it's what I like to call in football difference makers, guys that can come in and change what's happening and change outcomes of certain games and games of a higher magnitude. No young lads that have come in and they're maybe not been exposed to the level or they're lacking that sort of physicality. They need to get up to fitness, speed, culture, get used to the squad. Guys who you pay that wee bit more money for. I'm not saying that Celtic are going to go and spend £7, £8 million in the next four guys they bring in. That might not happen. But what I think might happen is you maybe get one or two. So you look at Adam Ida, that deal's over 9.5 million with the add-ons included. But then you've got guys who, you know, Matthias Bogus is a great example. The chat is that Celtic have met the valuation. I think it's about 8 million quid or €8 million, whatever it may be. And it's on the player's side now. Sorry, the club that he plays for, LAFC, they're trying to move some goalposts. But then you see the other side of that and you say, well, they're not, they've got an important run of games. They've played a first leg of a cup or whatever it may be, and they've got the second leg of that on Sunday. Now that guy, Bogus, is an important player, same as Matt O'Reilly is with Celtic, you know. But the difference between that is the USA transfer market is shut. So people can go and buy players from there, but they can't. So if they sell Matthias Bogus to us, they then can't go and replace him. So clubs will start playing a bit of hardball. But this is where you start to. This is where things start to quicken up in the transfer market, Stephen. This is where you start to see changes. You know, this is where managers start to lay down the formalities of the squad, and you know, they know they know what they're dealing with, and then other players like Brendan alluded to as well start to become available. So sometimes it's important. You need to wait to down the line in the window to get that right player. Because let's face it, if Brendan wanted to, you know, just go and sign anybody, he could have signed about 10 players by now. That'd have been dead easy. But there's a certain there's a certain level of player that Brendan's clearly looking for. And yeah, it's it's clear. It's very clear. And that's another reason why I'm quite calm, because it's a true saying, Stephen. I think all good things come to those who wait. And patience is key. It really is. Big Rab, JP, Norwich didn't want to sell either. Our fans haven't even listened to Norwich's own directors. Just blame the board all the time. Yeah, but I think it's dead easy, right, Rab, to be fair, mate. I think it's easy just to point the fingers and, you know, and fundamentally that's the modern day society. That's where we are, you know. Um, it's not that they didn't want to sell him. My understanding of it is, Rab, that Norwich had a set price, but I think Norwich used it to the success that Adam had up here from January to the end of the season. I think they used that to their advantage, and of course, they took advantage of it because he was their player. So they tried to get some more coin from Celtic, which is fine because, like I says, they're in the they're well within their rights to do so, and they were his parent club at the time. Um, but again, credit to the board because they kept at it and they went in and you know they struck when they had to, and the deal's done now. So again, I don't want to get bogged down too much in terms of the fee because to me the fee isn't relevant. To me, what's the relevance in all this here is the fact that the manager's been trusted, the manager's been backed, and he's been given the go ahead to go and get Adam Eder in, and obviously that deal's now done and dusted. And now we're moving on, and obviously he says today that there's priorities that he's trying to attend to. Mick 1967. Only negativity comes from the usual culprits in social media. I think it's only. I think it's in everyday walk of life, mate. It's not just in. You can't just sit and point a finger at people and just I think that comes. It's part and parcel of the sport. You know, fans just Celtic fans just want a fix. They want that signing, and all these narratives that are being spun about the team only this and the team are this and the team are doing this and they're not doing this. It's you know there isn't any patience. There's no any patience to see what's going to come of it. You know, and Brendan keeps saying, go back to his comments of see you here in May. He keeps saying judges at the end of the window. I personally think there's some good things to come, and we're in for a magic carpet ride under this manager. I really, really do. I think there'll be something positive soon. I don't know anything, but that's my thoughts. 100%. Craig White, good to see you, pal. Cheers for tuning in. It's time to start Bernardo. Matt O'Reilly is off, and we need to move on. I want the deal done ASAP, so the board move their asses. Yeah, mate. But listen, the thing with that is again, things take time, and that deal's taking time as well because again, he's such a high valued player, and it's not just a couple of million or a couple of quid you're dealing with here, man. Celtic could potentially be getting over 25 million for a guy that's only spent 1.5 million for. Ideally, everybody would love the deal done quickly, but again, it's football recruitment, and I've said it millions of times. It's not an exact science, and things take a bit of time. And I think what Celtic are trying to do is they're trying to cover their backsides as well in terms of getting someone in that they can, use wisely and get them in fast. And we would all love that as well. But I think sometimes it doesn't happen just as much as you want it to. But again, it's about patience. But Bernardo's time will come, Craig White. And I really do think, again, he'll deliver quality. Big Alan, how we doing, mate? Hope you're well, pal. Enjoying your Friday night. Barry. Brendan sounded very confident in camp. Yeah, listen, he always does. I mean, fans are trying to read into it and say, oh, he's dead frustrated and he's this and he's that. Just, it's, I don't know. I don't know why folk think to go and do it and just make up whatever they, just for an opportunity to have a go or, you know, like Brendan says, you spend money, you don't spend money, you can't win. In football, you can't seem to win. We didn't spend the money in Adam either. Jesus, the amount of stuff that would be getting flung about now, and but because we have spent the money, certain fans are, oh, that's too much, and you know, and as Brendan says, sometimes you can't win. Adam, he does. Listen, Adam, he's worth that value 100%. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. We've seen it. We've already seen it. He's delivered it. He's 100%. Paul, need more new signings, JP. Yeah, no, listen, of course we do. Of course we do. Again, there's nobody working harder than our recruitment team at the club. That I do know, and I can assure you that 100%. There's nobody working harder. Brendan's phone must be constantly needing charged. I'd imagine his phone's gone like the clappers every 2-3 minutes. Players' agents, players, this, that, and the next thing, sponsors, you name it, people doing deals, this, that. It's never ending. And again, managers probably want no more than what we do. I've seen fans comment tonight saying, I want the transfer window to close. Yeah, so does most. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself if the transfer window closes and because I've got every faith in this manager and this group of players even to go and have another very successful season. Listen, we're very fortunate, and I'll say this to him blue in the face. Celtic fans are very, very fortunate to have a club that's run the way we are and things are looked after in the right way. I mean, if some Celtic fans had their way and we replaced our recruitment guys with some of our fans, Celtic would be potless and in the gutter by next Tuesday. That's the way I see it, because the fans we just need to spend all this money, spend as if it's dead easy, as if that's the easiest remedy to do it all, Do you not think the club are trying to spend money? If any fan thinks that Celtic are just sitting there in the laurels and, do you know what, we'll just have a laugh watching all this mob panicking and we'll do this, we'll do that. That's crazy. I mean, to me, that's mental. And everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I mean, that's totally fine, but there's nobody more active in the transfer market than Celtic. I mean, look at Liverpool. Liverpool finished third to Man City last season, 16 points. What was it behind them? They've only signed a player. They've signed one player. So I think there needs to be an element of calmness, and yeah, we've signed players. Fans are saying, we've got the same team as last season, but the team's progressed. The team's developed. We've got players. Look at cast your mind back to January, folks. Right? We signed Kuhn and Adamida, and I remember after the Aberdeen game where we drew one each that day. It was actually Kuhn that scored. Fans were going off their heads, absolutely going off their heads, saying that Kuhn wasn't good enough and Adamida was a dumpling and a big do, and he was Norwich's third choice striker, and they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. Cast your minds down the line a couple of months, and the fans are clamouring over the fact that we might not have signed Adam either. How many times do the fans need to get it wrong before they go, do you know what? We're in good hands, and I'll leave it to the guys who are actually in the job doing the job. It's absolutely mental, in my opinion, to think that there's certain fans out there that actually think that they could do a better job than the guys that are at the club. Well, on you go, give it a try, man. Let's see what you know what's going to happen. Because football recruitment is not an exact science. You're never ever going to get it spot on every time. No club's doing it spot on. Clubs are the transfer market nowadays is well inflated now. Well inflated. Sander Berg has just went to Fulham for 25 million. There's a guy, Rutter, that used to play with Leeds United, signed for 40 million quid. Absolutely mental. For Brighton, 40 million. Only because the manager knows him from his days in Germany with Hoffenheim. He's playing with Leeds United in the Championship. And he signed for Brighton for 40 million quid. This is what we're up against. You know, people say, how's Celtic no spending money and how, you know, this is what we're up against as a fan base. This is what we're up against. Paul, I hear you, man. I hear you, mate. But I don't have the power personally, mate. Otherwise, they would be in the door. They'd be bang on and training with the squad and probably be in the squad for Sunday. And like I says, we need to wait and see what's going to happen because I believe that Brendan Rodgers has maybe one or two wee things up his sleeve, and I think we're in for a nice wee surprise at the come the end of the window, which is a week tonight. So we just need to wait and see. Big Barry, how we doing, mate? Evening, JP. Last season there was a panic at times when we faced uncertainty and we went on to do the double. Let's trust the board and Brendan. Yeah, mate, there's far too many, for me, hysterical. You turn on social media and you can see that also. But again, mate, I'll go back to it. You know, it's not an exact science, recruitment itself, but fans just want their fix, mate. We just want to see signings coming in the door, and at this rate, I think actual Celtic fans out there would just, as long as somebody's holding a scarf above their head, it doesn't matter their ability, it doesn't matter what they can bring to the team. Listen, Brendan's looking for difference makers, and nobody knows that more than yourself, big man. Brendan's looking for that bit of quality that can elevate us and elevate the guys run about him like Kyogo and Hatate and McGregor and CCV and Greg Taylor and Alistair Johnson and boys that have been there and know how to win and can get Celtic over the line many times, and they've done it time and time again. Young Bernardo's the same. I know he's just won his first couple of trophies with the club last season. You look at Bagida, again, done the double ways, scored vital goals. But they've also showed, Baz, that they can do it under pressure, mate. You know, and that's, there's more to playing with Celtic than just getting out onto the pitch and doing something flashy and showing a skill or two, or you know, you need to be good at lots of things. I think Brendan alluded to Stephen Welsh earlier, and there is more. There is more than just being a footballer. You know, you need to be a good teammate first and foremost, because they're all a family. So they're all like brothers, and they're with each other more times than they're with their actual families, wives, kids, mums, dads, a lot. You know, these guys are in each other's pockets, especially when they're travelling. It's European nights, it's Champions League, they're all away. Even in pre-season, they're away for 10, 12, 13, 14, sometimes 14-day training camps. They're going abroad. They've been in Japan. They've been over in Australia. They've been over in America. It's full on, and you need to be special. You need to have a. It's not just about your ability as a footballer. You need to have that special thing about you to be in this kind of goldfish bowl, as Paul Lambert called it. And you need to have certain minerals to be able to carry yourself into the squad. And I'm sick of seeing guys like Mikey Johnston and Stevie Moore. They just get lambasted. They get absolutely murdered by their support. And these are all the scapegoats constantly for certain fans and this and that. And Rio Watati makes mistakes. Kyogo makes mistakes. Dyson Maeda makes mistakes, but they're left alone. Nothing's highlighted. So it's the same guys that keep getting picked on all the time. But again, that will probably never change. And yeah, it's you look at Celtic's transfer model. It's remarkable, absolutely remarkable the way we do it. You know, no other club in this country is able to operate like that. Cal McGregor talks about being cash rich. Teams will see that also, folks, and they'll say to themselves, "Well, we can hold out for a wee bit more. Doesn't matter if they meet the 8 million evaluation for a player. If they meet that, it doesn't matter. We'll just move the goalposts as we go. Sometimes that happens as well. And it could be the smallest of things. You look at the boy Zupamendi, right? Liverpool nearly signed him, folks, right? His wife and kids didn't want to go to England, so that scuppered the deal. He doesn't sign for Liverpool. Small things can put weeks upon weeks upon weeks of work and effort into trying to get the guy in, and it doesn't happen. If anybody thinks that we're not um, you know, active and we're not trying to bring players to this squad, then I don't know how else you could be convinced otherwise. But you would be wrong if that was your thought process. Is Barry Bannon? Definitely not. No, Barry Bannon will be currently playing tonight for Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds, unless something's happened. And I've not heard. Barry's a good friend, so unless something's happened and he's something's went wrong and he's not there, but I don't think he's Barry. That's for sure. Barry. There we go. We have money to spend, though. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but it's all right having money to spend. Again, the spending needs to be done wisely. By the way, all you've got to do is look just across the city, not too far away. Well, I was going to say Ibrox, but they're not there now. They're at Hampden at the moment. And look at, you know, if you just continuously spending your money but don't do it in the appropriate way, what can happen? You cast your mind back to 2012. That was years of abuse going on behind the scenes with, you know, ill spending and spending out within your means and not doing it correctly. There's a way to do it. It's not just about, well, we've got money, so let's start being reckless and let's start making rash decisions on just because our fans want us to sign a player. That's not how football recruitment works. Certainly not. And uh, certainly not the way Celtic's football and player trading model operates at any point in time. Plunge, how we doing, mate? Breaking news, O'Reilly deal to be concluded this weekend, just broken sky. Yeah, fair play. Listen, again, it's one of those ones, if that's the case. and you know, and Matt's moving on to Brighton, then we wish him the very best of luck. Um, that's not going to be the end of Celtic. That's no, there's no element of panic there at all. Henrik Larsson left Celtic, and you know, uh, I remember the thoughts then. That's what happens. But listen, players like that leaving Celtic gives another player like Paolo Bernardo, like Thiago Holm, like someone else to come in, fill the shoes, and take over the spotlight. And that's how Celtic keep evolving. That's how they keep going, and the wheels keep turning because that's been happening throughout the years. We wish Matt all the best. He's gave us some really good memories. There's no ill feeling there. He's been a top professional. It's not like he's down tools or he's spat a dummy or he's banging it, trying to get out the door and making excuses and not turning up late to training, and he's not doing that at all. He's been exemplary in his behaviour and the way he's conducted himself. So yeah, if that is the case, listen, what a bit of buzz. But I'll tell you what, up to now, you've got to commend the board for again. You look at the other side of that. They've backed Brendan. They've no went against Brendan's wishes. They could have just took the first offer for Matt O'Reilly if the board were doing things their way, you know. But they've listened to Brendan and they've stuck with his wishes. Brendan wanted a certain value for the player, and the club have stood by that. So fair play, fair play, because you've only bought the guy for 1.5 million quid. The the 21 point whatever it was came in for Atalanta. That was, that's a lot of money. That's 21 million quid's a lot of money. No other team in Scotland are getting that amount of money. So again, you know, that's a massive carrot to dangle in front of the club. For the club just to turn that down again on the manager's wishes, because we have we've put a valuation on the player, and the manager did. So yeah, fair play. Listen, fair play for him sticking that out and listening, because some clubs, you know, you've seen it happen. Some clubs go above the manager's head, and this is another reason why I think the club are very well aligned. Brendan talks about this is where he wants to be, and I remember when Brendan was rumoured to be coming back, and it was before anything was cemented and contracts were signed. And I remember some of your fans saying that Rodgers will not come back because he doesn't get on with Peter Lawwell, and uh, Rodgers and John Kennedy don't get on. And I remember hearing various different sources coming out with absolute rubbish, absolute nonsense. The first thing, I mean, John Kennedy had a great offer to go to Spurs, and he rejected that to work with Brendan Rodgers. So again, I go back to that again with the fans and all these crazy narratives that get spun, and you know, it's just mental, man. Just to have a go and try and bash is what I would call it. The club at any sort of point in time, you just need to trust what the process is and everything that's going on. Because, in my opinion, guys, the players that have been brought to the club have brought us success. You know, I go back to January, Adam Ida, Nicholas Kuhn. These guys helped deliver the league and the cup. And bearing in mind, folks, this was last season in a league season that all I heard the full year, Celtic were terrible, they were this, they were that, they were this, they were that. You know, the rest is history, man. It's yeah, as I say, it's there. I mean, it's no, I'm not sitting making it up. It's there. Uh, Kaiser, good evening. JP, Celtic refused to progress, never build from a position of strength. We are reactive, never proactive. Well, the again, you go back to the Adamida, we've broke our transfer record, mate, to be progressive in the transfer market this season. So again, that for me blows that out the water. If you look at that, because we spent 9.5 million in total. You know, the record before that was Odds and Edward. So you brought in a top goalkeeper in Casper Schmeichel. Listen, Casper Schmeichel won a hefty salary as well. So, you know, you won the double last season and you've replaced Joe Hart with a better goalkeeper, in my opinion. So again, you're building on a position of strength. You know, you've then looked at that and again you've backed the manager to go and do the business. It's I mean, a team that's winning trebles and doubles and the last couple of years you've won double, treble, double. What else can we do? What what else is there for us to do, especially domestic? But that's your bread and butter as well, remember? So domestic's your bread and butter. I'm not too sure what else we can do. People keep saying we need to blow and it's, them out the water and this. I don't know what else we can do to them, man. Like they've they've only won one trophy in the last 13 years. One league trophy. That's you know, it's farcical. If you went somewhere in the world and you saw someone and you told them what team you supported, by the way, that's what Celtics do, they wouldn't believe you if they didn't know who Celtic were. They think you were making that up. So I'm not buying into all this, but we're no progressive and that's a big statement we've just made by signing Adamida again on Brendan's wishes. So that alone blows anything like that out the water. We've just broke our transfer record, and you know it's it's a it's a massive statement the club have made with all that in mind. John, good luck to Matt O'Reilly. We found a rough diamond and turned him into a pure gem. John, this is the thing. This is what Celtic do. Celtic have got a track record of doing this, mate. He's not the first, and he certainly won't be the last to go through that transfer model and recruitment line of work. Celtic are synonymous with success like that because of the player trading model we operate from. I think people forget as well, we play in Scotland. We don't play in the most attractive of leagues. So the work that Celtic do it's world class in my opinion to be able to generate what we can do in a league that we don't get any revenue from. We get next to nothing. It's pittance and this league here. Absolute pittance. So to then to have what's in um you know our bank accounts and what we've got for us has been done through hard work, good businessmen and guys that know what they're doing in that line of work that can protect the club and keep the club safe, keep the club out of humongous of debts. And, if a lot of fans had their way, Celtic would be potless, absolutely potless. Because their way of doing it is just spend, 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 spend. And Jen made a comment there in the comments, and it's bang on. You need to be able to spend that money wisely. You need to have the right quality in order to go and spend your money. Otherwise, you'd be just as well as opening up your window and chucking out your cash because that's all you'd be doing. Your cash would be falling down into a black hole. So, you know, the Matt O'Reilly thing as well. Our board and the guys that were in charge of negotiations for bids and stuff, they held out for as long as possible. They tried to keep him. They actively tried to keep him. Like I said, they could have just have sold him at the first shout, the 21 million, but they didn't. They tried to keep him. Uh, Baz, on another note, what you thinking for Sunday? St Mirren can be a challenge. Would you start Ida for his physicality? Yeah, I said that at the beginning, mate. I don't know if you caught the beginning. St Mirren are tricky. They are a tricky customer. I know they've hit a wee bit of a snag due to their European fiasco and the defeat with Bran, and I know they lost their cup game last weekend. They'll certainly be looking to get back on track and again be pushing into that top half of the league campaign that they managed to do last season. The manager, Stephen Robinson, is a cracking manager. I've always rated Stephen Robinson. But their team's full of physicality itself, Baz. I think they've got a lot of big lads in their team. They certainly know how to put it about. We need to keep, the tempo, the way we've been playing. Again, it's been a continuation for us from pre-season to now. We're in a right good period at the moment. And obviously, after Sunday, we've only got one more game in this wee small kind of bubble of games, and then it's an international break, and then after that, we look to go again. But once the transfer window shuts, that's when the squad is going to be stretched. That's where you're going to be tested. So no winter break this season, folks. So for anyone that there's no winter break. For anyone that didn't know that. So again, in December you're playing about a quarter. You're playing about a quarter of your season worth of games in that month alone, December. If it goes by the previous campaigns that we've had. So yeah, Baz, I expect a tough test, mate. I expect us to have to move the ball quick. I expect us to have to try and get through the lines quicker than what we normally do. And I expect us to win. I expect us to continue. I would start Ida, for his physicality. I think he needs a wee bit of physicality work, Baz, as well. I think Adam Ida needs that couple of games to get him up to flow with the team, and because you saw that, I thought on Sunday there when he came on, he was slightly behind. One or two moments, you look at one, he's unlucky with the one he tries to clip over the goalkeeper. Great pass again for Riley. So yeah, as I say, it's going to be a tough game, mate, but it's one I'm fairly confident that Celtic will be able to negotiate and keep this momentum going and keep the tempo and the team going as well. Kaiser, fair play to you, JP, bro. Love the way you also understand the inside track at clubs. That helps, Kaiser. Obviously, I played the game as well, mate. So you kind of, I've been on the other side of that as well, the other side of the white line as well. So I've had that luxury there. And when you're there, you kind of get the feeling for things as they go, and through speaking to guys like Anthony Joseph and have a good friend in Barry Bannon, who's currently obviously still playing at the moment, still at a very good level, and you get a feel for things and how they work at football clubs and how they do, and then you kind of you get confidence from that, and you become more knowledgeable as you go, mate. But thanks for your comment, mate. That was nice. Paul Rees, I expect a big 7 days now for incomings. Yeah, Paul, I think a lot of Celtic fans are looking at it that way. I think it's a big week as well, because obviously not just as the transfer window closing Friday, a week on Sunday you've got the first Glasgow derby, the campaign as well. So a lot of fans are looking forward to that as well. We found out today that that's a sellout. I know there was a couple of a batch of tickets that went on sale for the general public today, but they were snapped up quite early on. And yeah, so it's a big week, not just for the club, like behind the scenes as well. It's a big week for the players as well because obviously some of these guys will want to stake a claim for that jersey for a week on Sunday as well. So yeah, it's interesting. I've always said, Paul, I'm really calm and all with Celtic in general. I'm really excited for what's down the line because again, what's not to be excited about, mate? I've said this before, even to some friends and stuff. This is a great time, probably the best time of my life. I can remember being a Celtic fan at the moment, mate. With the return we've had and success and trophies and days out we've had and cup finals and times with your family, with your dad or with your uncles or whoever it may be, your closest loved ones, and you're just watching Celtic win and win and win and win and win. It's a great period, mate. And with it, as it will be this season, this is our third in a row. I think this first time that's happened for a long time as well. If it's maybe even the first, someone might correct me. We're in the Champions League proper. We don't need to qualify, so we've had an extended period as well. There, we've not had any qualifiers, and the squad gets an extended holiday and stuff. So it's just been a remarkable time, mate, to be a Celtic fan, and I feel totally privileged to be a Celtic fan in this moment because of what we're seeing. So yeah, but it's a big 7 days, mate. It is a big 7 days, but at Celtic, Paul, I think every week's a big week, mate, because of the expectations and the standards that Brendan sets, and then obviously the expectations there's as fans as well. That they want to they want to see the club do well. They want to see the listen. We all want the same thing. We all want to see Celtic do well. Um, Imagine being a Ross County fan, mate. Imagine when your club only winning anything and you're fighting relegation, and so you could picture that. Jeez, oh. Rob, JP, I spoke with a few ex Celtic players, and each one has said just how good John Kennedy is as a coach. If he's our next manager, we would be lucky. That'll split opinion as well, Rob, as everything does regarding Celtic, mate. Listen, John Kennedy's he's not an idiot, that's for sure, mate. He's been there. Who, uh, you know, he's been there for a long, long time. He's saw a good few managers now, and um, he's been kept on for a reason, mate. And I'll take comfort in saying that. I think he's certainly he must have ability. Otherwise, by now the club. I mean, look how managers and coaches don't usually um, last long in a position. So to last as long as he has, it's remarkable in itself. John, do you think JP making our league bigger will make it more attractive to investors, i.e., TV revenue? I think there's there's got to be an element of positivity in there, John. That you know, if you make our league bigger, yeah, it becomes more attractive. But that's one of the things that's wrong. Our league's too small. Um, Loads of things come with a bigger league, mate, as well. Not just revenue. There's loads of different things. More eyes are on your league as well. The coaches, the managers, the coaches, players. There's loads of different things that come in with extending your league as well. Opportunities is another one. I think it would help the young lads as well. I really do. I know people have said, the boys playing in the Lowland League is it's no for me as well. Because again, these lads aren't tested. They come into the first team and look at the amount of players that have moved on now. People are saying, they're miles away, they're nowhere near it. So again, I'll listen. I think it's one of the ones that's obvious. I think it would benefit everyone, not just Celtic. It would benefit the full league, full Premier League anyway, and then obviously you would then look to how would you extend that? What teams would come in and you would look to try and get teams in there. You've got derbies, you've got Dundee Derby, Hibs, Hearts, you've got the Celtic and the Rangers, Glasgow Derby. So you've got loads of you know legwork there that you could do with starting off your negotiations. But again, mate, that's a different chat altogether. John, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. How much money have we brought in? How much have we spent? After this window, we will still be in profit. Spend the money. Yeah, John, I don't think we can grumble if you're in profit. It's, again, that for me, that just shows how remarkable the club are run. You know, if you can do your business and still be in profit, why would anybody not be in favour of that? I don't. I wouldn't know anybody that wouldn't be in favour of that at all. The club are. They have spent money. Um, but again, I said at the beginning, mate. Again, I don't know how much of this you've managed to catch tonight, but we're not privy to what's going on in there. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So I'm not going to try and sit here and make up a figure, and because I would probably get laughed at and be wrong, and it would get clipped and played somewhere else, and um, so. But I don't know anybody at all that that's. I seen a headline the other day, John, that Celtic are one of the best run clubs in Britain. Um, Again, I go back to it, the kind of player trading, the way they do things, the way they operate as a business, it's remarkable. It's elite, they're run like an elite football club, and they're ran the way that we're supposed to. But the spending that Celtic do is done wisely. It's done, you know, Celtic have shown again the Adamida breaking the transfer record. Celtic have shown they're not afraid to go and spend money, but it needs to be right. They can't just go and do it recklessly and bring in anyone, because could you imagine last season, John, if we went and spent 7-8 million quid on the big lad Nat Phillips? What would the fans have done then? What would they have said? What would the, but it needs to be done proper. It needs to be done correctly. Can it be done recklessly? We went out and spent a good 4 or 5 million quid on Shane Duffy. And okay, people are going to say to me, JP, that season nothing went. And that's probably accurate and spot on. Nothing went our way. And everything that possibly could have went wrong for us did go wrong for us that night. But if you go back to that, if you spent that amount of money on that guy and that happened, look at Barkas, you look at Ayeti. Celtic have took chunks of money and they've spent it, and it's backfired on them. So again, I go back to it. It needs to be done. It needs to be done wisely, and it needs to be done in a way that it's Brendan's say so, and it's a guy that's coming in to make the difference. It's very, very hard. I keep saying it as well, to bring in a guy who's going to displace guys like Matt O'Reilly and Kyogo and Hatate and Callum McGregor and CCV. It's probably one of the hardest things you could ever possibly do, you know, without not having to spend a fortune. I mean, it would cost Celtic millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds to replace these guys. But if you put quality in beside them and have it so that the amount of games that Celtic are playing, when you've got guys coming off your bench as finishers, you can change it up and you're not losing that level. But when you get into the Champions League, just say it's a 20-year-old guy. I'll use your boy Engels for an example, John, right? You bring him in and you've got a 20-year-old boy in your development squad now. This boy's at a different level for that, and that's what Brendan's chatting about. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring guys that can make the difference straight away. Guys that are only going to take 5 and 6 and 7 months to settle, and boys that can come in, come off the bench on Sunday against St Mirren and boom, spark the game to life and continue the tempo so that you're not dropping off. You make 5 substitutes. It's put 3 or 4 guys round about some of the other boys I've mentioned. We're going to be in for a very exciting season. That's for sure. JP, why are you angry? Kaiser, how long have you been watching us? Surely you would know my character by now, mate. I'm definitely not angry. It's a Friday night, man. I'm probably one of the most chilled out guys in Glasgow at the moment. Um, no, I'm definitely not angry. I'm just, it's one of my pet peeves when I see Celtic fans just deliberately having a go at a club that are trying their hardest to continuously deliver us as fans nothing but success. It really, really grinds my gears, man. Really does. Now, I understand people are allowed to, you are allowed to criticise, when it's warranted, but the narratives, man, that guys are last season, man, I mean, oh, Brendan's this and Brendan's that. There was people saying when we were down 1-0 at half time against Motherwell that Brendan Rodgers had to go. I seen it with my own eyes. It's when you start seeing things like that, mate, that kind of starts to get to me a wee bit, mate. I was on BBC Sports Sound and I was asked the same question by Kevin Thompson, and Kevin Thompson says to me, "JP, if he doesn't deliver the league, where does that leave us? Like, where does that leave?" And I'll say here what I said that day to Kevin. I says, "Well, Kevin, if people think that Brendan Rodgers will be sacked by Celtic if Celtic don't manage to get the league over the line," I says, "That's fair enough. They're well entitled to think that." I says, "But Celtic have a guy who this isn't his first rodeo. This isn't he's not a novice." And Kaiser, last season, I thought he was treated like a novice, and the way the comments that were said about him, and the narratives that were spun against him. And you look at that one, he says in was it the radio? I can't remember. Was it BBC? We'll write our own story. People had written a story about us last season that just because we dropped points here and Hearts beat us at Celtic Park and this and that, it's uh, that annoys me. That annoys me, especially when it's a guy that's got more than enough in his CV that would automatically buy him extra time should he go through a poor spell that Celtic end up not being able to deliver one of the trophies. And we lost the League Cup last season, you know, but the attitude from the players and Callum McGregor and, "Well, I want my trophy back," and I love that. That that's amazing. So it's so I'm not angry, but I'm a wee bit peed off when I see comments like that because it's no reality, it's just no reality at all. Um, so yeah, Rab, John Kennedy must have won more than any other person in the Celtic history now. He's not far off. He can't be far off, Rab. Definitely not, mate. He's 100% a very successful man. on and off the pitch. Listen, it's hard to to even try and comprehend what's happened to Big John, and you know what his career was taken away from him effectively by a really really horrible challenge in football, and yeah, uh, but to then go on and not like that dampen his spirits and became a coach, and again he's another one that takes abuse, man. It's just absolutely nuts. For me, it's just mental, absolutely mental, and yeah, it's I just don't see it. I'll no stop regardless of I keep saying it. No matter what this team deliver, no matter what they bring, sometimes it's no good enough, you know. And you'll see it again. Um, it's it happens every season, you know, and it'll continue happening. That I've been involved in it long enough now. You see it all the time. We comment for lad 7851 says if Cal Mack was any good, he wouldn't be playing in our league. I'm not too sure if that's an attempt at humour or if you're remotely being serious, lad 7851. But I'm I'm bewildered with that comment. I really am. I'm totally baffled by that comment. If Cal Mack was any good, he wouldn't be playing in our league. That's that's mental. Your fingers must have been shaking while you were typing that there. You can't be serious. You can't be serious. And then it's not even that. Then you went on and says we need to get young Connor Barron in to replace him. Connor Barron couldn't walk Callum McGregor's dugs. He- he's not even good enough to do that, you know. But it's just absolutely that actual comment about Callum McGregor is just. I think that's enough for a Friday evening, folks. I really do. Somebody's had a late night last night. If you're coming away with stuff like that. Yeah, no, listen, I can understand. I can understand the the call. I can understand it. I get it, guys. And listen, that's what you need. That's what you're up against. You're up against this is this is this modern day. Welcome to modern day society. Welcome to the nutcase brigade. Um, but let us know, guys, before I finish up. Let us know if you're going to the game on Sunday, if you're going to even see the game on Sunday, you watching the game, what you doing, what we all doing for the game. Good to hear wee Kyogo as well, guys. Just before I finish up as well, wee Kyogo's obviously back in the squad. He's training well with the team, and good to see photos of them a day with smiles on their faces. Again, another narrative that was spun. Oh no, they're all away. And Sky Sports had Celtic fans all panicking, and you know, oh he's away and he's away and he's away. Just deflection, just totally deflection for what's reality up here in Scotland. Now, there must be a big derby coming up, and I keep seeing it. Obviously, I keep I keep saying it. There must be a massive derby coming up because it's as we get closer to a week on Sunday. regardless of whether the transfer window's shut or no, wait till you see some of the stuff that gets put out, and um, yeah. Evening, Ryan. Nice of you to drop in, mate, in your busy schedule. Um, I'll let you away with it because it's Friday. Um, next time you'll be you'll be on the same disciplinary procedure as Big Adam Ida. It'll be kept in house for now. Um, Tony, good man, good to see you, pal. Hope you're well. 2-0 for Celtic on Sunday, JP. What's your predictions? Under 18s lost 4-1 to Dundee United. Yeah, mate. It's it's one of those things, the under 18s. It's a big loss for them today. But 2-0 would be nice, Tony. Yeah, it'd be nice to keep up this kind of scoring form that we're in, mate. I'm going to go for 3. I think we'll score 3. I just think I think Celtic's firepower is just far too much. And we'll just have too much in the tank. JP, don't worry, Tav will be off on Monday for a 20 million derby. I know, mate. No, 100%. They'll be selling Scott Wright for 15 million to RB Leipzig or whatever. Remember the one as well with Barry Mackay? Jesus Christ. Barry Mackay's gone for, what was it, 6 million to RB Leipzig. My God. Because he hit the post in the game when he got scalped 4-0. But yeah, have a nice weekend, folks. If anybody's new to the Celtic Unrestricted View, please hit the like and the subscribe button. It's totally free. And if you do, check out our podcast partner, MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. John's offering a 20% discount for everybody that now subscribes to the podcast. Again, that's free of charge. John's offering a 20% off your memorabilia, signed to be framed or anything at all. So all you need to do to get that done is quote TURV, TURV 1888. So the code is obviously the unrestricted view. And you'll get 20% off. If you contact John, you can get him on Facebook and Instagram. So you get him on there. MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. Tam, I've been on solo tonight, mate, and I've been here for an hour and nearly 25 minutes, mate. So it's a good night from me, mate. But have a lovely weekend, guys and gals. I hope everybody enjoys themselves. Hope it's not too quickly a weekend for you, whatever you're doing. Hope you enjoy the game on Sunday. And again, above all else, be safe, take care, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.